The Russo brothers' powerful sci-fi epic is approaching. Disney is pulling the ripcord, and a new Alien vs. Predator seems likely. Plus, a popular movie is becoming a series, and Jack Black is heading back to the jungle. Find out about all this and much more here in the KinoCheck News. The Alien franchise is back. The latest film, Alien Romulus, grossed over $100 million globally on its opening weekend alone, a huge success. Now director Fede Alvarez has spoken about a potential revamp of Alien vs. Predator, which he'd like to direct together with Dan Trachtenberg. This would make perfect sense, as the Predator film Prey, directed by Trachtenberg, was also very popular. And according to insiders, a sequel is already in development. We can also look forward to a standalone Predator film penned by Trachtenberg in the form of Badlands, in which Elle Fanning will take on the leading role. In an interview with Deadline, Alvarez joked that the concept of Alien vs. Predator could have similarities to From Dusk Till Dawn by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. In other words, he'd like to direct one half and Trachtenberg the other. At the same time, though, the director emphasized that the success of Alien Romulus and the associated interest from fans would be decisive in determining whether a new film version would happen at all. We can't wait to find out. Science fiction fans, listen up. With The Electric State, one of the biggest Netflix productions finally gets an approximate release date. As early as next year, in March 2025 to be precise, we'll be able to see the Russo brothers' next blockbuster. This has been reported by Deadline, among others. The Electric State is based on the graphic novel of the same name by author Simon Stålenhag from 2018, which was selected as one of the best books of the year. The book is about a post-apocalyptic world that has been almost entirely destroyed after a war between mankind and an out-of-control technology. In this perilous environment, the girl Michelle, played by Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown, wanders across the country in search of her younger brother. She's accompanied by a robot and an eccentric drifter. Together, the three of them have to deal with monstrous drones that have been left behind since the Great War and are now roaming the countryside. According to current information, the movie will pick up on the plot of the book, but possibly change or add some elements. Millie Bobby Brown will be joined by Chris Pratt, who previously worked with the Russos on Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. But the rest of the cast is also quite impressive. Oscar winner Ke Huy Quan will play the role of Dr. Amherst. Other roles include Stanley Tucci and Jason Alexander. Several stars will also be heard in dubbing roles. For example, Succession actor Brian Cox, the new Captain America Anthony Mackie, and Billy Bob Thornton, who was also involved in The Gray Man alongside Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. The role of the drone Marshall, who hunts Michelle and her friends, is voiced by Giancarlo Esposito. Originally, The Electric State was to be directed by IT director Andy Muschietti. However, after some delays, the Russos decided to make the film themselves. The development of the Poltergeist series at Amazon MGM continues to progress, as two showrunners have been announced. According to Variety, the two are Kalinda Vasquez and Robbie Thompson, who will serve as writers, showrunners, and executive producers for the project. Vasquez already worked as a writer for Fear the Walking Dead, Prison Break, and Star Trek Discovery. Robbie Thompson, for his part, has made a name for himself as a producer of Supernatural and the Netflix series Cursed. Although more details about the plot of Poltergeist are still being kept under wraps, it's known that it's inspired by the legendary horror film from 1982. MGM already produced a series, namely Poltergeist: The Legacy, which came to an end in 1999. A release date for the new series has not been set yet. News from the giant robots. After the sequel Pacific Rim Uprising largely fell short of fans' expectations and was also unable to match the financial success of its predecessor, Legendary is now trying its luck with the Prequel series. According to Variety, the renowned screenwriter and producer Eric Heiserer, who already received an Oscar nomination for Denis Villeneuve's science fiction film Arrival, will be in charge of the project. As part of a first-look deal, Heiserer and his production partner Carmen Lewis are to realize several Pacific Rim movies for Legendary. The first project to be tackled as part of this deal is a series exploring the origin story of the Pacific Rim universe. The franchise, which kicked off in 2013 with Guillermo del Toro's film of the same name, is known for its spectacular battles between giant robots, known as Jaegers, and monstrous creatures. These invaded our world through an interdimensional rift in the Pacific Ocean. The first film was a huge success at the box office and grossed over $400 million worldwide. And this was followed by the sequel Pacific Rim Uprising in 2018, and then an anime series on Netflix in 2021 called Pacific Rim The Black, which was broadcast until 2022. Unfortunately, it was to be expected. After the predominantly negative reactions from fans and the rather mixed ratings, Disney is calling it quits and has decided to cancel the Star Wars series The Acolyte after merely one season. Sources have told Deadline that Lucasfilm has opted not to commission a second season of The Acolyte. At the same time, the sale of any merchandise from the series has also been suspended. This decision follows just over a month after the finale of the first 8-part season on Disney+. The Star Wars series was reasonably well received by critics and achieved a rating of 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, for example. Fans, however, felt very differently and gave vent to their displeasure on social media. The discussions were not always conducted in a constructive spirit, though. Some viewers claimed that the series had become too woke and no longer had anything to do with the classic Star Wars. Others argued that the series didn't have a fair chance to begin with. Although creator and showrunner Leslie Headland had some ideas for another season, she will no longer realize them. The negative response from fans was also reflected in the figures. Despite a solid start and a place in the Nielsen Top 10 Originals charts, The Acolyte was unable to maintain standards and ultimately even dropped out of the Disney Plus's Top 10 list. The budget is also likely to have played a decisive role. After all, The Acolyte was reportedly one of the most expensive Star Wars series ever, costing $180 million. After several attempts, the reinterpretation of the 1997 horror movie Anaconda seems to be back on track, as initial information suggests that two main actors have been found. According to The Hollywood Reporter, these are Jack Black and Ant-Man actor Paul Rudd. Black is considered a busy man in Hollywood. He provided the voice of the robot Claptrap in the Borderlands movie, and will also be a part of the upcoming Minecraft film. There's still uncertainty about who will take on which role. Initial information suggests that Black will play a former director who now works as a wedding videographer. Paul Rudd, in turn, will play an actor who is mourning his Hollywood dreams after playing a role in a police series. Rather than make a mere remake, the new Anaconda film will take kind of a meta approach, similar to Scream from 2022. According to sources, the plot revolves around a group of friends who decide to make a remake of their favorite film, Anaconda. In order to make the movie authentic, they set off to the Brazilian rainforest, where they not only have to deal with the perils of the jungle, but also with criminal gangs and the eponymous giant snake. The film is being directed by the unbearable weight of massive talent director Tom Gormican, who is also penning the screenplay. Originally, Anaconda was supposed to be filmed last year, but the Hollywood strikes put the project on hold for a while. Let's hope that everything works out now. As the production of the second season of One Piece continues, we'll be seeing yet another character in addition to Dr. Kureha. The character in question is Dr. Hiriluk, played by Mark Haralick, who you may know from The Big Bang Theory. Dr. Hiriluk was like a father figure to Tony Chopper, and awakened in him a great interest in medicine. However, it is still not known who will play Chopper. Deadline also confirmed that Katie Sagal has been chosen for the role of Dr. Kureha, known from Sons of Anarchy and Married with Children, for example. Originally, Jamie Lee Curtis was intended for the role. For scheduling reasons, however, nothing came of it. Dr. Kureha is one of the most popular characters in the world of One Piece. Fans were therefore eager to find out which actress would play the character in the Netflix live-action series. Production for the second season has already been ongoing in Cape Town for around 2 months. The general release is currently planned for late summer 2025. But so far, there's no more concrete information. That's it for the most exciting news of the week. If you want to watch more content, you're in for a treat. We got a lot of trailers on our channel. So if you're into action, for example, you should check out our trailer compilation of the best upcoming action movies for 2024. Enjoy the content and see you next week.